All right, we're back here with Veracity Now at veracitynow.us. Another live feed on this Friday afternoon. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to ask a question of the day. And that question is, how close a relative would the sister-in-law of your father's only brother be? Okay, that's your father's only brother's sister-in-law. What is she to you? Well, why? That would be none other than your mother. So I offer a heartfelt Happy Mother's Day to mothers everywhere. And I do encourage people to ask that question because you'll very rarely get the correct answer. They usually will say, it's your aunt. No, the sister-in-law of your father's only brother is your mother. So happy Mother's Day to moms out here. It's a wonderful thing to be celebrating motherhood this coming Sunday. And interestingly enough, the woman who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic, that would be Julia Ward Howe, is the exact same woman who launched Mother's Day here in America. They already had some of that going on in Europe, but when it was launched here, it just took off and it became the huge thing that it is today. So interesting. The woman who wrote that, dead men everywhere, corpses of men all over the place, all over the damn place in America. And that woman then turns around and says, honor the mother, the mother, the mother, the mother upon the end of the war. And I do think that's an interesting and noteworthy thing to point out here at Veracity Now. Now, today we're definitely going to talk about the firing of James Comey again, or more to the point, about the very, very predictable fallout of it. You got Democrats screaming and yelling, it's Shumo the clown, just going at it over there. You got them all saying that this is very obviously a cover-up, right? He fires the FBI director. It follows that he is doing that because the FBI director, James Comey, was investigating the notion that the Trump camp during last year's election, of course, colluded with Russians. This leap is, for those people who actually believe that, and that's including some Republicans, it's actually inane. It's stupid, really. The FBI director does not make up what is the end-all be-all of investigations into anything. You got all kinds of ways that this can be investigated. It was his field reporters who were answering to him on this investigation. You're going to get another FBI director, and the acting FBI director now is already saying, we're going to investigate this. There's nothing going to stop us from investigating this. We live in a pluralist society. This is a pluralist system. There is no one person that is the end-all be-all of an investigation, an ongoing investigation into a president of the United States of America. It's plain damn stupid to think that he was fired for that reason. Dumb. Really very dumb. There are going to be investigations 9 ways to Sunday if enough clamoring, if there looks like there's anything there. I would say it's really no fire, only smoke. They're blowing smoke up all our arses. It's a silly notion that he was fired for that reason, and it's just as silly a notion that there's anything there anyway. Let me ask this question. Why on earth would somebody from any foreign country, including Russia, need to sit with anyone from a presidential candidate's camp to hack the opponent? It's not plausible. It doesn't add up. Why would they? And I had a friend and a very smart guy tell me, well, if they were coordinating on timing, all right, that's a thought. But a remote thought. There would be no reason for anyone from Donald Trump's campaign to sit with anybody about any timing for a hack on his opponent. Why would they go through all that risk just to say, well, time it at 13 days? And that's that's the sort of stuff that people who hate Donald Trump through and through are trying to throw out there as whatever they can throw to the wall that'll stick. I would say that there's zero reason for anyone from the Trump campaign to sit with any foreign person from anywhere to discuss whether or not Hillary Clinton's computer is going to be hacked. If the Russians wanted to hack Hillary Clinton's computer, her laptop, they would just do that. What, they were asking permission from Donald Trump? What, it was Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin themselves. And Vladimir Putin says, hey, Donnie boy, I want to hack your opponent's computer. He says, all right, Vladdy, you've got my blessings on that. I give you the green light on that. Yeah, Vladdy, go ahead. Oh, but do it in 6.4 days. Look, there's no reason for any collusion. There wouldn't be any reason for it. I don't see anything plausible here at all. And Richard Lowry is saying much the same thing that I've been saying, which I was saying, I was sitting with a very dear friend last night, Jackie Mason, who asked the table, is this going to help or hurt Donald Trump? Or how's this going to play out? And it's a wash. And of course, everybody has their answers. It's a wash. It's a neutral thing. Look, a week or two from now, I doubt much of anyone's going to even be mentioning the name James Comey. There will be a new FBI director who will be doing his or her job. And that'll be that. I don't think this has any legs at all insofar as the firing of FBI Director James Comey. And I don't think this has any legs at all insofar as any notion that there was collusion between the Donald Trump camp during last year's election cycle and the Russians. It's just so stupid. And what's really on top of all that, now, I hope you're taking this in. It doesn't make sense, damn it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up at all. It's just a bunch of hooey. And there'd be no reason for that. Now, we'll see if an investigation proves me wrong, fine. But I can't see any tenable thought here. And the icing on the cake of it all is that when President Barack Obama said to that Russian who was the right-hand guy, to one of the ministers, the right-hand guy to Vladimir Putin, he says to him, more flexibility after the election. These people that are screaming and yelling and clamoring about collusion, they barely any reporting at all. Now, I'm not saying that to point out the obvious lies that the media gets involved with every day and all the biases. I'm saying that to point out that here they're just lying on this. I'm saying specifically here, they're lying. They're just trying to make up whatever they can to try and cast aspersions and doubts on this president and his legitimacy as president. It's just a bunch of bunk, believe me. I can't imagine it being anything. One person sat with some Russian somewhere that was from the Trump camp, and the whole thing's, oh, the Russians. It just doesn't add up. I can't stress that enough. And why didn't they say anything about when Barack Obama, if there's any collusion, it would be the guy that says, I have more flexibility after the election. Wink, nudge. That would be something that would smack of collusion of some sort. He was caught in a hot mic with that. And they didn't say boo. So it really does speak volumes that they didn't say really much of anything on that. They certainly didn't make a headline news. And that they go after this Republican sitting American president about something that they think they could maybe try to make people believe happened that was bad during an election season, 10 months ago. It's an investigation looking for a crime. And then the other one was on the other side of that, the one where Susan Rice clearly surveilled American citizens and unmasked people. That's a crime looking for an investigation. And this is the kind of thing that would have Donald Trump get white hot. You bet. Not because they're in any way attacking him. To him, they're like insects. But as far as his personality, who he is, he's a larger-than-life guy. He doesn't care about all that stuff. It's all a bunch of bunk. It's all a bunch of silly little gnats as far as he's concerned, is what I would say. He would be angry because of the fact that they aren't looking at a damn thing when it comes to Susan Rice, who was engaged in clear-cut criminal behavior. And they don't say boo, and then they say something about this, and then you got Comey not understanding much of anything, grandstanding the way he has. And then lastly on Comey, let me make something very clear. He was a Republican who was tapped by Obama. He was an Obama pick, but a Republican, right? Yeah, the token Republican. Well, look at the token Republicans on Bill Maher's show. They just go, okay. They just go along with any joke Bill Maher makes. The next token Republican to hit Bill Maher's show, here's what you do. You laugh along. When you make a point and he comes at you with a joke that's super witty, because Bill Maher's one of the wittiest people out there, laugh along. Laugh as loud or louder than anyone in the room. And then hit him with the question again. He can't joke his way out twice. So that's what I see as any token Republican, whether it's on Bill Maher's show or the Obama White House. I see token Republicans as people that kind of go along to get along, or they just don't want to come across as some stick in the mud, or whatever the case may be. And Paul Sperry is someone who wrote in New York Post today, was it? I would encourage you to look up New York Post Paul Sperry. He's got some really good stuff to say on the issue. And like I said here, Rich Lowry has got a really good piece in the New York Post today. I think you should really take a look at that. Everybody just keep the perspective on this, will you? It doesn't make any sense that there would be any collusion at all. And I can't stress that enough. And these people are just full of lies. They're full of hot air. And by the way, let me say again, as you've heard me say here at Veracity before, Chicago is called the Windy City because all the politicians are full of hot air. They're full of it. That's why it's called the Windy City. Barack Obama hailed from the Windy City, where all the politicians lie through their teeth. But not him, though. He's honest. He's a good one. Silly. So, it's about the perspective. This doesn't add up at all. And it'll all come out in the wash of the Reds. Hell, 2 years from now, President Trump is going to be unbeatable in my book. There'll be no big-time Republican that'll challenge him in the primary. And I don't even see a heavyweight Democrat even trying, because his policies will have set in. And while there's some bumpy roads with some of that, and I don't agree with everything President Trump is doing. Let me make that very clear. But I would say there are things that go, and there are cringe-worthy moments with President Trump. No doubt about any of that. So, but this is all just a bunch of like children at a playground. And I always come back to that. I always picture these people in the media as children in a playground, the way they behave. I'll have more flexibility after the election, and they say nothing. Some guy sits with a Russian somewhere, and it's, the Russians are going to get us because of Trump. It's just too stupid for words to describe. So take all that in. Of course, this is nothing. It ain't going anywhere. We'll see who replaces Comey. It'll be a good pick. President Trump has picked mostly really rock-solid people. I disagree with some of the picks here and there, of course. But I see highly intelligent people. Yeah, Democrats giving it. He's got a bunch of billionaires around him. Okay, in other words, a bunch of people smart enough to become billionaires. Bad Trump. All right. Now, before we end the show today, I want to share a little funny note. So you took that in, right? It's a bunch of bull spit. Bunch of bull spit. Don't even give it a second thought. Any Republican out there saying that they think there's something to cover up, shut up. Not even close. All right. And you Democrats, you're just going to scream this just because that's what you do. It's all a bunch of garbage. All right. A little funny note. There was a guy on the 18th hole at a golf course in Florida yesterday. I read about it yesterday. I think it was a couple days before, where it's like, right? So he hits the golf ball, and it's going, high, arching, 18th hole, golf course, Florida. Boom, hits a duck and kills it. What are the chances of that? Duck is flying, just flying along, and gets hit by the golf ball. Now, I don't get all that, because usually ducks kind of stay to the ground. You don't see them flying all that often. What the hell was the duck flying for? He decided to venture up and cost him his life. He is now a dead duck. And apparently that duck never took the time to learn how to duck. So you got to wonder, when he's flying along, did he sense the golf ball and then say, quack? So I just think, look, if a duck flying over a golf course in Florida can get nailed and killed by a golf ball on the 18th hole there, then anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right. So anyway, I do hope that because I believe that everything I just said here today about the FBI situation, the whole stupid Russian thing is all where it's really at. You don't have to give this much of a second thought. Concern yourself more with where you're going to take your mom out for dinner on Sunday. I'm Rob Arnold. I say, yes, of course, perspective is where it's at. Everyone, everywhere, including all you moms out there, happiness to you. Keep the proper perspective.